My name is Paul, and I'm here to talk about sprouts and their nutritional values. Very easy to grow, very doable. You can do it, I can do it, everybody can do it. One method I first started off with was your old plain mason jar with a little bit of cheesecloth. Worked great, had a good turnout. And the second method would be buying like a little incubator thing, kind of like this. There's quite a variety of them. There's a lot of organic choices, and they range between $5. I've seen them as cheap as $4, and you got like a whole ton of seeds in here. This can make quite a bit of food. Okay, so after disinfecting all your equipment, I chose for this incubator to do arugula and black chia, which doesn't require soaking for any period of time. And then for the mason jar, which you can also use those, since it does require a soak, this is a little bit easier to work with. So I'm using broccoli sprouts. I like to rinse my seeds out prior to use. So for instance, all the instructions are in the back of each type of seed that you want to use. So it's kind of self-explanatory. Each one has its own way of kind of being put together. So for instance, for the mason jar, I'll just take a tablespoon of seeds, just kind of throw them in this little sieve and give it a little rinse. So I've poured in 500 mils of water, and it just kind of goes in through each section, just kind of spreads out the seeds. You do want a little bit of water in this bottom container after about a 1/4 inch, so that it can create that humidity once you seal it. You will have to look at what type of seeds you choose, but generally you want to at least give them a nice light rinse at least every day to make sure that there's no stale water and you're always putting fresh filtered water. So for the broccoli sprouts, because they recommend soaking it in water for 2 to 4 hours, I just kind of gave them a little rinse, put them in the mason jar, and I'll cover it with the cheesecloth, an elastic band, and then you want to just grab some filtered water. At this point, it doesn't really matter, I guess, how much. I'm using around 200, 250 mil, and I'm just pouring it in so that the seeds can have a little bit of water in there, swim around. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours and 15 minutes since these seeds have been soaking. So what you want to do is you want to just tilt your jar, basically just strain all that water out. Then I'll just pour this water out here in my sink. And then what you want to do, and a bowl works great, is you just want to keep the jar slightly elevated like that. So if there's any residual water, it'll kind of make its way out. With the cloth, it kind of helps with a little bit of the grip. If there's a little bit of water in there, it's okay. So this will just basically kind of, start to sprout very slowly. As far as these containers go, today was my first time obviously with the chia seeds. So I think a spray would have been more sufficient than adding water. It's still somewhat a little bit liquidy here. It is dripping down into the holding chamber, but I guess we'll see what happens and I'll monitor it. It's a part of growing. You learn, trial and error, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully they make it. If not, there'll be next time. Okay, it's been 5 days. This ended up working out to, when I weighed it, it was around 80 grams, something like that, of microgreens at Loblaws goes for like $4.99, $5.99 sometimes, between 75 to 100 grams. So got a bunch of that. This is what came out of the mason jar, which was the broccoli sprouts. Now, little lesson, I had to redo the chia seeds, so this is actually only in day 2 because they do need the misting, like I explained earlier. And this is what happens when you soak too much. This also should have taken a misting, and you could see a lot slower process. This, and this are roughly the same time. So, thank you, and that's about it for sprouts, and I hope you learned something, because I know I did.